Hello people, it's Power here to review the Kamen Rider Revice DX Demons Driver. So this is the first premium Bandai driver within the line, because I think this is the first premium Bandai item out of the line. But anyways, this is the belt of Kamen Rider Demons, the third rider to appear within the series, but not the tertiary. I just butchered that pronunciation. Anyways, this box is really unique because it's not a traditional, like, DX box. It's actually, like, matted out. Like, it actually has a premium feel. Obviously, we got Demons there, the Demons driver itself, his rider symbol, and the hexagonal details. Like, just the way this is kind of framed is interesting. I've been forgetting to mention the 50th rider anniversary stuff. Top Demons driver, the spider web, the spider vice stamp, the stamp for spider, the shoulder of demons. Then you get all the main screens of demons. This one I don't have. I kind of don't want to get it, but and the back here, just says decide up. I don't know why I couldn't read that. And you got this nice spider web thing with the eyes of, spoilers, but the Demon's driver. Yeah. Yeah, let's just take the contents out. We spent too long on this box. So here we have all the contents out. We got the Demon's driver itself, the spider vice stamp. Then we got the vice stamp holders for the Demon's driver, and essentially for all the other drivers, because this is actually used for the two-side driver, and the belt strap for the Demon's driver. Obviously, this is the exact same belt strap as the Revice driver. Yeah, just the Revice driver, because technically it's not the GQ driver, because that's a bit different belt. Gosh darn it. So, obviously, they're all just cast in a really nice, really nice, deep navy. And I think there's, some glitter injection. But, I really do like this cover overall. It's really, sweet. Even from, the light, you can see some of the light blueness. Some blue hues. I really like this color overall. I apologize for the scratches, but, I just like this overall. And, that even applies to the vice stamp holder. No, it doesn't. But, you can tell these are a lot more flatter. So, obviously, here's a comparison with the initial ones. I think this just kind of looks a lot better with the, in person you can see somewhat of the sparkliness, but camera's not capturing it. But so obviously these just function the exact same, like so. And then again, getting this out of the way, just simply clip it in like how you typically do so. Well, okay, we're forgetting one step, which is to slide the holders through the belt. And slide the belt back through. Clip those in, slide that like so, and get these aligned. Now you should have a full-on assembled Demon's driver. Yeah, technically obviously the holders have the same flaw. This one still has the same flaw of being way too loose. But even this one is actually kind of loose too. But like, so that's kind of disappointing that that's still an issue. Like, other than that, like, you know, they're just holders. But, you know, like, it's cool that they are included, because obviously that's a, as we get into with the Demon's Driver, which here we have right here. And this is, like, a really interesting design overall. I think, like, the color scheme of it is, again, pretty neat. I really like the main base of it, just being this not metallic, like, really deep navy blue. And then being complemented with the gunmetal gray and the silver here. And obviously you got the, like, red vein design. Like, it's a pretty neat driver overall. And, you know, very simplistic, definitely, which helps. The back of it is really intriguing too, just because of how, just really like how much detail is brought out because of this. And, I don't remember if I did mention this, but like the Revice driver does take 2 AAAs, just because it doesn't make sounds. However, when you look into the Demon's driver, this thing takes 4 AA's. It's one more it's one more battery than the Drive driver. So now this thing is the most battery inducing driver we've ever have received. And obviously, because of how clean the design of the Demon's driver is, the speakers are just kind of like the Icon Driver G, are actually within where you slot the belt clips in. But, you know, again, that's not a thing you should worry about, because the volume of this thing is actually pretty loud. And I'm pretty sure, like, these extra vents here are supposed to be for the volume also. I just realized these small slits when I was filming the demo. But this is the slot where you're gonna, you know, slot in the vice stamp. As you can see right there, there's still the light sensor, and then this is a pad for the stamp, so then it can comfortably stamp in. And then this is the screen that you're gonna stamp the vice stamp in, which you can tell has gone through a lot of wear, which is, I kind of wish they thought this through, but they didn't. Obviously this thing pushes in, and then you got these side buttons to push in, because essentially that's how the Demon's driver functions, is essentially by pushing the side of it in. And as you can see, you do have the veins going in, because this is obviously a softer material, like a rubbery material, which I'm really worried about. Like, I was really worried about that, just because it's like, this material is like what am I saying? This material typically is like known to wear out and just like start ripping, so I'm kind of cautious about that. But like, as of now, it doesn't seem as bad. Like, but like, I think, I just hope it doesn't like wear out, like, because definitely the bottom is a lot more looser than the top. The top is like pretty compact, but the bottom, like, veins or like tubes are a lot looser. But like, other than that, like, I do like the texture of them and such. Like, definitely, like, just the build of this is like definitely like feels a lot more superior to like a lot of like previous belts that aren't CSMs. Because just the fact that like this is like a DX belt and they managed to like do all of this is pretty neat. So yeah. So here we have the Spider Vice stamp, which is obviously, as you can tell, cast in the like typical, but cast in like the same type of vice stamp that the Bata vice stamp is in. And technically, you would just think, oh, so Demons is a shoulder rider. But that, I don't think that's the case. He mainly uses Showa Rider Vice stamps, but we know what happens to the Showa Riders. So, you know, the Marlin in this one is not, again, not as bad. Like, I'll say it's not as good as Bata. Like, you know, the sides here aren't really covered, but like, I think the back, around the stamp, and then especially the top, I think that's kind of good enough. And the QR code for Gamba Rising. And then, again, the stamp for Spider. It's kind of like Bat, where it's not like a mirroring of the image, it's just the same thing. And then speaking of the Spider, I really do like this core, like these two colors overall. Like, I just really like this deep translucent blue they pick. Or, it's technically a navy. It's really interesting. I feel like we don't really do much with the color navy, or not we, but like I feel like they don't really do much with the color navy. So it's really cool to see it here. And obviously you can see demons, or you can barely make out demons in the back, which, you know, I prefer. And then obviously we get the red spider. Red LED. So with the Demon's Driver, trying to struggle to frame this, obviously on and off switch right here. If we turn it on like so, there we have the screen. So you can do things with this by itself, but it will technically just, you know, spoil what the functionality of this is. So obviously to initiate the transformation, activate this vice stamp. Then you want to align the vice stamp within this section of the Demon's Driver like so. Just like, you know, you're inserting in the Revice driver. And then you want to push the vice stamp down, so then the two light sensors can actually meet. To which then this will start the standby process, as you can see the animation. And then to complete the transformation, simply stamp the vice stamp back to the screen. So yeah, there we have the transformation of Kamen Rider Demons. As you can see from the animation there, this is made up of a 64 LED light panel, which is why the price is abysmal. But even from like in person, you can definitely see the 64 LED panel like through the screen. But I think in camera, it's kind of hard to make it out because all you're seeing is just the scratches. So for the first finisher, all you simply do is activate the vice stamp and then simply stamp it to the screen once again. So then this animation will start until you push either side of the Demon's Driver in. To where you get the Demon's finish. Now, the main gimmick of Demons is that, you know, Revice and Evil and Live, I should have just said Evil, gosh darn it. So, Revive, Vice, Evil, and Live can genome change, while Demons can actually genome mix and such. So, if we were to push the sides in once, we start the genome mix process, to which then you take your vice stamp and then scan it like so. And to show that you don't need to like put the vice stamp in, here you can clearly see me not putting it in, and then just stamp it like so. Then again, just stamp the screen. So yeah, now we got Spider within our genome mix and such. And then we can do that again with our primary vice stamp, Bata. And then again, you don't need to use the vice stamp to press the screen, you can just use your hand or thumbs. As you can see, the Bata comes in and such. And then we would do another one, so we would do Neo Bata. As you can see, Neo Bata is actually accurately colored to itself, as you know, Neo Bata is based off of 01. And then last but not least, we will use Bat. And then as you can see from there, Bat is not colored to what that originally is, as that the Bat in here is more purple than green, interestingly. Now we got 4 genome mixes within the system. If we push this in twice, we start the transformation process once again, and now when we push it in, we will complete the process. So yeah, when you do a finisher with the genome mixes, you get the Demon's Requiem, which you can also achieve by just pressing these in 3 times. So you technically don't need to do genome mixes, because it's simply just by, like, you press this once, you get the genome mix, you press this twice, you get the standby process of that genome mix, and then the third one is just the Demon's Requiem. Last but not least, we have to show is the ability of using other vice stamps that aren't Spider, just kind of like the two-side driver. So again, we're using Bata because that's his main primary one. So I did that by so. So as you can see right there, we get a new entire transformation because of stuff later on in the show. And obviously, as you see, it's the same animation as the one from the genome mix. And again, just to prove that you don't need a vice stamp for the initial finisher. Also to show that the Demon's Finish doesn't need a vice stamp at all. You don't need to you don't need to transform to do the Demon's Finish. You just simply need to press the screen. Also, another thing you don't really need to do is press either side, because basically both of these buttons, buttons act the same. So you just press one, it will still do that. And then you press one, it would do that. So basically, they just program these to just, hit the same thing. Obviously, it's not as complicated as, like, rolling and Bard. Good. In a good way. But yeah, obviously, if you want to see all the vice stamps, then go watch the demo. I'm going to show one more vice stamp, which is going to be rolling, because obviously, again, people are going to be like, well, it doesn't work. It does. You just have to be incredibly lucky to match the light sensors. Because obviously you have to pretend that like you are like sliding this in. As you can see, it does something like this, and then if we do a genome mix, nah. So basically, you know, that didn't consider as rolling, it considered as extra. So if we again go back to Bard Rex, and use Volcano, and then we do a Requiem, so basically this is not a good way of showing this because as I've already said before, these two are different signals and these two are the same signals. So basically you can, just like Bard Rex, I don't think I've ever mentioned it with Bard Rex, but what do you like with Bard Rex? You can literally just scan the same Vice stamp in 4 times to get that effect. So if you only have Spider, you can literally just chain Spider 4 times and then it'll still work. It doesn't really care. So yeah, that's kind of how I was showing that and such. But let's show Spider out and everything. So Revice driver first, even I don't think this should have been the first thing, but we're stuck with a red LED once again. The Spider doesn't really. Again, it's probably my fault. Yeah, definitely, because it's the edge isn't coming in. But like, you know, I do like the simplified looks that the stamps do give the animals. I think it's neat. The transformation, it's alright. Obviously because Spider's main device isn't the Revice driver, it doesn't say Kamen Rider Demons, it just says Spider, so it's not as intriguing. And like, you know, the instruments they use for Spider are pretty interesting. Like, I don't know if they're trying to like, I don't think it's trying to sound like Spider-Man, because I don't know what exactly you would say that would be like Spider-Man. I don't know. And because I literally forgot to do this within the demo, so it actually does recognize Spider, so that's pretty neat. We're doing the Evil Blade because he fought Evil first. Woohoo! Temperature. I should mention that with the Demon's Driver, it will come after the two-side driver now. Well, I mean, I think it'll probably come before the two-side driver because the two-side driver is a weapon, so then we can transition to the weapons, but then, gosh darn it. I don't know why the spider gets the axe. Again, it's really inconsistent with like how the light signals work with between each vice stamp. So yeah, as I said before, this technically follows the signals of the Gundaphone because, you know, even though this one shines red, it shines white here. Speaking of the Gundaphone, yep, that's going to be normal now. Yeah, overall, my thoughts on the Demon's Driver overall, as I keep repeating words because of lackism, I think it's a fine belt. Like, it's a fine driver for sure. It's pretty innovative, as, you know, obviously the selling point of this is the fact that, is the fact that this has a 64 LED panel and such, and that, like, you know, all the animations corresponding to the vice stamps and such. Obviously, that's the huge selling point. And just the fact that, like, you know, this is technically the only, like, this is technically, like, the biggest Revice toy we've covered so far that can actually, like, read the vice stamps and actually knows what you're doing with them. Because the thing is that, obviously, the Gundaphone and, like, Bard Rex, yes, those do, like, those are other two toys that know what vice stamps you're putting in. But, like, you know, as we're going to cover later, like, obviously, at the point we're at, those things are done. Like, those things are kind of done with reading the vice stamps. This thing, obviously, if you looked at the leaks, this thing is, like, the first thing within the toy line that actually has, like, a really, like, respectable list of, like, you know, of all the stuff we actually know. So that, like, basically you are collecting the vice stamps. This thing will be nice to get because this is technically, again, the only thing that will actually read the vice stamps, because the Revice driver technically the Revice driver will read the vice stamp only via, like, whatever signal the vice stamp tells the Revice driver to put out. So that's technically the only way the Revice driver is reading it, is because it's being told to do that because of that vice stamp. Is it being told? If it's being told to put out a yellow LED, it will do that. But the Demon's Driver is the first driver where, like, we get what we would typically expect out of a driver, just like with, like, you know, like the Drive driver, for example. you put in shift high speed, you're gonna get shift high speed. No. But like I hope you get what I mean. Like this is technically the like first Revice toy where we technically can actually know what exactly is pre-programmed into this thing without having to be blind about it. So like that's great and all, but if I have to be honest, just kind of like Don Oni Taijin, like I understand why people are like really psyched about this toy and such, but personally for me, it's like fine. It's like kind of typical. Like it's not anything like outrageous or anything. It doesn't need to be. I'm not asking for this to be like a CSM release or something. It's just like it's fine. But like I love the two side driver. So like, I know that doesn't have any relevance in this, but it's just like if I had to like play with the driver, I'll go with the two side driver. Like this thing is fun once in a while and all, like, and I do like go back and play with this thing because it is innovative, but like I feel like the specialty of it is kind of like I feel like because they kept phoning that in as like its big thing, it kind of like makes it less special. I feel like if they just didn't really have, I feel like if they just sold, like try to market this normally and try not to like put in our face like, oh look of like all the special things this has, I think it would have been more like, oh, cool, I can actually look forward to this thing, kind of thing. Like, it's fun, definitely, and this thing is pretty costly, and like the cost of this thing makes sense. You have to pay for this LED panel and such. And like again, it's cool that they included the vice stamp holders because obviously they need to push the price up somehow. Because I think this thing retailed for nearly $100, so like $30 more than the Revice driver. Which this, again, makes sense and such. Like, I think it's fine. Like, I really do not want this to come out wrong. Like, I don't think this is bad. Like, it's just not particularly my favorite toy out of the toy line because the two-side driver has already taken that. So it's just kind of like, it's neat to have. I just don't think is as like amazing. Like no, it's not even that. Like I just like because I can agree that this thing is a good toy, but like this and Don Oni Taijin is just kind of like yeah, they exist and like what they do is great, but I don't think they need to be at this like standing ovation. They're just people are really going to take this in a negative connotation.